Hi, JD here again. Apologies firstly if the camera goes in and out of focus a little bit. I seem to have a bit of a problem with it today. This video is a bit of a recap really, because I've talked about this in the past, but I think it's so important that it's worth going through another example. And it's all to do with when can you voluntarily terminate on an agreement. And I don't know whether this comes from salesmen, I don't know. But I was kind of reading some forums the other day, and there still seems to be a little bit of a misunderstanding when it comes to when can you technically give a car back on a PCP. I read an example where somebody said, well, I'm losing my job or whatever and I need to give the car back, but it's okay, I've only got a month left to pay and I can give it back after 18 months. And I thought, hang on a minute, 18 months happens to be exactly 50% of 36 months. So that kind of got alarm bells ringing, because I think people still seem to think that on a 36-month PCP or a 48-month PCP, you can give that car back at month 18 or month 24, 50% of the period. And it is most definitely not, as you'll see in a minute, unless you put a huge deposit in, because you've got that balloon payment at the end, it will never be halfway into the agreement. It'll be much further. With an HP, a straight HP, where you start with the £15,000 say, and at the end you owe nothing, then yes, it will be around the halfway point when you can voluntarily terminate. But on a PCP, it most definitely will not be. Let's take a look at an example. Let's do a straight HP first. So let's say we buy a car for £20,000, no deposit, no guaranteed future value, remember, because it's a straight HP, so there's no balloon payment. And let's say it's 5.9% APR, and let's say it's a 48-month agreement. Okay, so in that example, we'd be paying £467 a month. And look, the voluntary termination point is at month 24. Let's remind ourselves quickly how we calculate this. So all you do is the voluntary termination point is when you have paid 50% of the total amount on the agreement. And that includes any deposit you've paid, any interest and any charges. So in this example, we borrowed £20,000, our interest was £2,431, so our total amount, including any deposit, which we didn't pay in this example, was £22,431. Then all you do is you divide that by 2, so in this case 11,215, you take off any deposit because you've already paid that, then you divide it by your monthly payment, and that will tell you how many monthly payments you need to have made before you've reached that 50% mark. So with a straight HP, if you imagine you've got a straight line graph, so up here you've got the amount borrowed, down here you've got 0, and this is your period, well, it goes to show that roughly 50% will be where you can give it back. But because on a PCP, effectively, you haven't got this going to this, you effectively got this going to kind of this, and this bit here is your balloon payment. So let's now say, okay, we're going to do a £20,000 PCP, no deposit, and we'll have a guaranteed future value of £8,000. Now, again, you might think, oh, well, I need to get out of this agreement. I took it over 4 years, but I'm nearly at month 24, so I'll be able to give it back soon. Oh no, look at this. Let's do the maths. It's actually, on this example, month 36.49. So 36 and a half months before you can give it back. And that's because total amount borrowed is 23,259. Divide it by 2, 11,629. Divide it by your monthly payment. And because your monthly payment is so much smaller, because you've offset that amount to the end, obviously you need to pay more payments because your monthly payment is smaller to pay 50%. So I think it's really important just to have a recap there. When you take out a PCP, just remember you're not going to be able to voluntarily terminate after month 24 of a 48-month agreement or month 18 of a 36-month agreement, unless you put a huge deposit in. But why would you want to do that? Because you've lost your deposit as well when you VT. Let's just show you. If I put, say, a £5,000 deposit in this example, it's still month 31, so it's still 7 months over where you might have thought it was going to be. Okay, so I hope that's useful. Just remember, on a PCP, you're never going to VT it at the halfway point. It's nothing to do with time. Okay, it's 50% of the total amount borrowed, including any deposit you've paid and any interest you've paid. Here's something else I just want to go over while I'm talking. I've just thought of something else. Again, and I don't know where this comes from, but I just want to clear this up. I think some people reading on forums and things think that when they take out a PCP, they've got your PC. So imagine this is a car, okay? So this bit is your deposit, and this bit, let's say you're looking at it this way. Let's say the boot is your deposit, and let's say the bonnet is your guaranteed future value. Some people think you're only financing the bit between what would it be? The doors. Okay, between the edge of the boot and the edge of the bonnet. They think you're only financing that bit. That's nonsense. Okay, you are financing the whole amount less the deposit you've paid. I'll tell you how you can prove that. If you go onto your credit score, something like clearscore.com or Nodal or Experian or whatever, have a look at any car finance agreements you've got showing, and it'll show you that the total amount at the start of the agreement was the entire amount plus the interest. Okay, so if you've got a PCP of £20,000 and you put a £2,000 deposit in, you are financing £18,000 plus interest, regardless of what the balloon payment is. I think some people think that, say, if it was £2,000 deposit, £10,000 guaranteed future value, I think people think that actually I'm only financing the 8 in the middle, and that's not true. That's most definitely not true. A PCP is exactly the same as an HP. It's just that the final payment at the end is much higher than all the other payments. Okay, so I hope that's useful. I hope that's interesting. Again, as always, please comment and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Again, some really nice comments from you guys, so I'm really grateful. Getting some really nice emails, asking some really interesting stuff. Please always feel free to get in touch. I'll put the email address up down here, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.